guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun white trips weak. Pros X go. On one. Ready?
Ready.
What's going on, everyone? ANCAP24 here from HuddleGG. In today's video, we're going to talk about the new title update and everything you need to know about the new changes to man coverage and the swapping of assignments. Now, if this is the first time checking out our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, also hitting that bell notification to make sure you never miss any of our uploads. So for this video, guys, we want to talk about the change that they did in the title update when it comes to man coverage, okay? In the early parts of Madden 21, there was a man swapping assignments where you used a certain motions, and what would end up doing is it would trigger a player from the opposite side of the field to cover somebody, doing a kind of a crisscross type deal, and left people wide open. There was a couple different ways that you could combat that with, doing, play your cornerbacks by matchups with speed or whatever the case may be. But it was in the game, not everybody knew about it, and it really was something that needed to be fixed. So they went ahead and they did a fix on it on today's title update. I'm going to talk about what the fix was, what's changed, what hasn't changed, what defenses it still works with, and what defense it doesn't work with, because we did a little bit of a deep dive to make sure that we knew everything about this, okay? So what I'm going to do is call something from Gun Trips Tight End. If you look at my defense right now, I'm in man coverage. I'm in cover 2 man. It's a nickel formation. And I'm going to try to basically motion Julio over to the right. And I'm going to put my controller near my mic so you can hear that I'm spamming the A button. You hear that? I can't hike it until he basically crosses the center and has an opportunity to be in between the guard and the tackle, okay? If you see that, I pressed hike the entire time. I'm trying to spam it. They no longer will allow you to hike the ball on this until he passes the center, and see how I was able to hit it right there, okay? So that's the fix. The fix was that anything that caused a man swapping in the past, you're no longer able to hike it, okay? Now, if that was just it, then this video wouldn't be that informative, right? I want to make sure that I showed you what was going on. I'm going to show you exactly what is in the game now, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a different formation. I mean, it doesn't matter, same formation, a different play call. So we're going to call cover 1 robber press, okay? Now, if you look at cover 1 robber press, I want you to count how many players that are not in man coverage. It's going to be the deep safety and the strong safety. They're in 2 zones, right? So let's do the same exact play. And what you're going to see is that it's going to work exactly the same way, where if I hike the ball, you're going to hear my controller. I'm still unable to hike the ball until it gets crossed, okay? Why is that? The similarities between cover 2 man and cover 1 robber press is that they both had 2 players that were not in man coverage and basically weren't blitzing, right? So let's go to the next example. We're going to go ahead and look at a play. Let's go to cover 1 linebacker blitz, right? If you look at that, you see you got 1 deep safety, you got 1 blitzer, right? So let's go ahead and check that out. I'm going to call the same exact play. And what you're going to notice here is that when you call cover 1 and you've only got 1 player in a zone, you see I'm spamming my hike, I'm able to hike it, right? So the way it works and the way that they have it programmed is man coverage, 2 players that are in a non-blitzing type of assignment, it has to be in a zone, will not allow you to hike it, right? So I'm going to show you one more play here before I go a little bit further into this for you, is that we're going to go ahead, do the same trips tight end. I want to make sure we stay as consistent as possible. We'll stay in nickel. And what we're going to do is we're going to call a play with contain. Okay, see, cover 1 contain. Okay, does it look like it has 2 zones in it? Right now it doesn't, right? Now, when I look at this, I want you to see that there's a spy on the field pre-snap, okay? It does not show it in the play art, right? It didn't show that there's a spy. So because that player is not in a blitz assignment and he's not in man, that counts as a second player when I say zones, okay? Because he's in a spy assignment. So this should not work. even though it looks like it would have because there's only one player in the zone, because that guy was on a spy, I'm spamming the button. It won't allow me to snap it, okay? So what we've learned so far is that if there's two non-players that are either in a spy or a zone, you're not going to be able to spy it. So from a defensive standpoint, you should know that if you're starting out in one of those, you're going to be able to not have anybody hike it on you. Next thing we're going to do is let's go to cover 2 man again, right? Okay, so I'm in cover 2 man, right? What if I put all my players in zones? All right, so we're going to do this. And it doesn't really matter what I'm doing. I'm just putting everybody in the zone right here. So you see no man coverage on the field. Actually, do you see one guy? Let's make sure that there's no man coverage on the field. Okay, so here we are. You would think you'd be able to snap it, right? But the original call that the patch has recognized is cover 2 man. Remember, it was cover 2 man before we did these adjustments. I'm going to move this guy over. I'm going to snap. I'm hiking it. Doesn't allow you to snap it. So if you start off in cover 2 man or cover 1 robber press or cover anything that's a man coverage that has those 2 assignments on the field, they're not going to be able to hike it. You can do whatever you want with your defense. Now let's try it the opposite way. Let's go to Tampa 2 and let's turn Tampa 2 into cover 2 man, right? Something like this. All right, let's all right, so you can see now we're in essentially cover 2 man, right? But it started off in Tampa 2, right? So let's see what happens. We're gonna move this guy over. I'm gonna spam hike it. We're able to hike it. So this only applies when somebody's in originally a man coverage on the original call, right? Now it does not work like if I start off in cover 2 man and I try to audible to a different play to Tampa 2, it's still going to read the Tampa 2 because that's what's on the field at the time. So in order to see this, this is more of a defensive tip more than anything to understand. If you start off with a defense that has 2 assignments that are, you know, either in a zone or a spy, then you're going to not have your offensive opponent be able to do any short hikes. That's basically what it is, right? Now, it does change from 3-4, 4-3, and other formations when it comes to what capabilities you are to do. Because remember in the beginning of the video when I told you, it only works on things that swapped them in the past. So if you were going against a 3-4 or 4-3 where the cornerback went over to the other side and he trails him back to the other side, it's going to allow you to do it because it's not messing up their assignments. Something got messed up on the assignments, it will no longer let you hike the ball. Now, from a defensive standpoint, like I said, you can pretty much ensure that you get no short motion on trips tight end, any trips or any doubles types formations if you start off with a man coverage with 2 zones or 2 assignments. So that's basically the title patch today, guys. I wanted to make sure that I did my best to explain everything about it so you understand how it's working now, because it is a little confusing because sometimes you're going to say, why can I snap it? Why can't I snap it? And I wanted to bring it to you so you understood it. You could use this as a defensive, tip. Personally, this is something that I'm hoping is a temporary fix. I hope this is just a Band-Aid and not something that they're going to stick with, because it does change the way offenses can be run. And a lot of people do use short motion, in their opportunities to run their offense, and, kind of, not allowing them to do that because of a man issue is kind of disheartening. But hopefully, this is just a Band-Aid, something, a temporary fix until they get the full fix. I don't have knowledge either or. I just wanted to show you where the game is at now, so you understand it better for your own sake and be able to, adjust from an offensive standpoint, but also a tip from the defensive standpoint. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on next video.